You ever wonder why there's so much suffering in the world? Especially if, as some believe, it was all created from a place of love. It's a huge question, one that people have wrestled with forever. In this explainer, we're going to dive into one specific and, well, pretty surprising answer that our source material puts forward. So let's get right into it.
Okay, so our source says we have to start here with this one powerful idea, and this isn't just, a minor detail. It's the absolute foundation of the entire argument we're about to explore, this idea of a deep, unconditional love for the world. Everything else that follows really hinges on you accepting this as the starting point.
But right away you hit a wall, right? There's this massive conflict. If the whole universe is built on this premise of love, then how on earth you explain the world we actually see and live in every day? This is what our source calls the great contradiction, and it's the central problem we're trying to unpack.
So that brings us to the question that just haunts people. And this isn't some abstract philosophical puzzle. It's a really personal cry that you hear again and again throughout history. If this all-powerful love is real, why is there so much pain?
And look, the source doesn't pull any punches when it comes to what this suffering looks like. It's not some vague idea. It's a brutal, everyday reality. We're talking about the big, global stuff like wars and poverty, but also the quiet, internal battles so many people face. Loneliness, emptiness, mental health struggles. The list just goes on, and you can really feel the overwhelming weight of it all.
And that weight, it can be absolutely crushing. The source is really blunt about this, stating clearly that for some people, the pressures of life just become too much to bear. It pushes them to a point of complete despair. It's a stark reminder of just how deep this pain can actually go. So, how do you even begin to make sense of this? You've got this idea of a loving creator on one hand and a world just filled with pain on the other. Well, our source suggests that when people are faced with this, they often arrive at a pretty common and what seems like a totally logical conclusion.
And for a lot of people, that question eventually hardens into a conclusion. The apparent silence, the nonstop pain. When you're suffering and you feel like no one's listening, it's easy to land on one seemingly inescapable answer. We've been abandoned. That's the only thing that makes sense to many.
Okay, but this is where everything gets turned completely on its head. This is the big twist in the argument. Instead of trying to argue against that conclusion of abandonment, the source does something totally different. It flips the entire problem upside down, offering a radical reframing of what's really going on.
And this slide, wow, it just lays it all out so clearly. On the left, you've got the common assumption we've been talking about. God abandoned us. But then look at the other side, at the source's truth. We abandoned God. See what happened there? The action, the agency, the responsibility, it's been totally and completely reversed.
And here it is, the central claim, in the source's own words. The truth is that God did not abandon us. We abandoned him. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. The implication is huge. In this view, all that suffering isn't because of some divine neglect. It's a direct consequence of human choice, a result of us turning away.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's a total 180 on who's responsible. According to this explanation, the problem of suffering isn't about God not doing something. Instead, it's presented as the natural, unavoidable outcome of humanity choosing to create distance from the divine. And that's where this leaves us. With an exploration that doesn't just give an answer, it actually changes the entire question. It makes you wonder, if you accept this new premise that the separation was our doing, how does that change not just how we understand suffering, but maybe more importantly, what our own responsibility is in all of it?